All right, good morning, everybody. Shabbat, I almost said Shabbat Shalom. Shalom, shalom. All right. All right, so need that morning coffee. All right, so I hope everybody is having a great day so far. Good morning, Sean Lovett, David and Michelle, Daniel and Alicia, Shane Stokes. Good morning, guys. Glenda, Jason. Holy cow. Y'all just popping on there like fast. Rebecca, Garan, hello. Eliyahu, Ben Edgar. Wow, that's a mouthful. All right, well, good morning to y'all. Hope you all have an awesome first day of the week. As Anthony taught yesterday, the choice, to choose joy. And as he got into the scriptures of what it means to choose that joy, the healing to our body. And, if you really think about it, you think about the times that you have the most elation in your life. Something that happens that, man, it brings so much happiness to you. I mean, you're grinning so hard from ear to ear, you swear your face is going to break. And the way it makes you feel this like electricity, this energy go through your body. And I don't mean energy like some new age nonsense, but our body does have these, our brain has synapses and, endorphins get set off, and our body has this like electricity kind of feeling in it and stuff, all the way that Yah made it. And, it's life, it's him, and when we have that joy and everything else, and it activates, your body feels good. It feels alive. And, we really have to make the choice, Mishpachah, to, man, that cat, hang on one second. Sorry about that. All of a sudden he wants to choose this time to howl at the moon. But, the way that what it does to our body and how it affects us. And that's the whole point of what I'm trying to get at is, we need to choose it and really think about it. There's people out there that I know, people who have, family members or children that, may be handicapped, and it's a 24-hour job for them to take care of it. And these families, I know a family like that, and they choose to find joy no matter what. And, and they declare that their child, that they have to 24/7 give their undivided attention to take care of, because he can't take care of himself. They've told me, they're like, he's our joy. We find joy in him. And this kid's got a smile that will melt any heart. And, it's just when somebody like that who has, and it's not a burden, and it's not ever a burden, but it's extra work to take care of that child. And, they can't just up and do things like maybe most of us can, because everything they do, they have to lug a whole bunch of stuff with them to take care of that their son. And, and when you see a family that's like that, you see anybody who deals with something like that, and they choose that joy, then we have no reason to not find that joy. You know what I'm saying? Yah gives us the opportunity. We can either choose life or choose death. It's really what it boils down to. We can choose to find joy in everything that we are in, or we can choose to complain or whatever because of what we're going through. And so, Mishpahad, my whole point to all that rambling was that I hope today's the only day you have to think about, because today's the only day that you've been given. You're not promised tomorrow. None of us know if we'll live to see tomorrow's sunrise. So I encourage you, Mishpahah, today choose to find joy in your life and in everything that you're going through. I know life's not easy, and I know life can be a struggle. I know that we have people that come against us. I know the devil is always trying to come at you and tear you down and discourage you and everything else, through people, through family, through friends, through even other brothers and sisters in the body. But it's okay, because there's one that you don't ever have to worry about who will let you down. There's one who will always be faithful, and one who will never fail you. And that one is always standing right there next to you, wanting you to turn to him, to reach out to him and let him comfort you and strengthen you, and let him fight for you and hold you. And so, Mishpahah, do that. Turn to your King, your Messiah, and let him wrap his arms around you. Amen. And find the joy knowing that you even understand who he is. Find the joy in knowing that you have him to turn to, and be glad, because that above all else should bring you joy, should bring all of us joy 24/7. We could be like those in the world who have no one, who have nothing, who are lost and have no hope. They don't know what you know. They don't know what they could have, but you do. So stand on that joy, and don't let the enemy bring anything else against you. Amen. So anyways, so we are on day 95, Psalm 95. Sorry, that coffee's really good this morning. All right. Day 95, Psalm 95. Oh, come, let us sing to Yehovah. Let us shout joyfully to the rock of our salvation. Let us come before his presence with thanksgiving. Let us shout joyfully to him with psalms. For Yehovah is the great Elohim and the great King above all gods. In his hand are the deep places of the earth. The heights of the hills are his also. The sea is his, for he made it, and his hands formed the dry land. O come, let us worship and bow down. Let us kneel before Yehovah our Maker, for he is our Elohim, and we are the people of his pasture and the sheep of his hand. Today, if you will hear his voice, do not harden your hearts as in the rebellion, as in the day of trial in the wilderness, when your fathers tested me. They tried me, though they saw my work. Let me say that again. They tried me, though they saw my work. For 40 years I was grieved with that generation, and said, it is a people who go astray in their hearts, and they do not know my ways. So I swore in my wrath, they shall not enter my rest. Mishpahah, let us not be that. Let us never be those people. You know, Yeshua says that blessed are those. Sorry, man, that coffee's giving me a runny nose. Yeshua said, blessed are those who have not seen yet believe. You know, all those people that died in the wilderness, that whole generation, as it said, that Yah was grieved with. And that's why that's why he made them wander the wilderness for 40 years. I mean, you think about it. It says that 600,000 men and a multitude and women and children and everything. So we're talking probably 2-3 million people, or at least a couple million people that went into the wilderness. And out of that many people, 2 people made it into the promised land. Caleb and Joshua. Everybody else died in the wilderness. Nobody else, including Moses. And of course, we know why Moses didn't enter into the land. But all those people didn't enter into the land. But yet they saw everything. They saw the 10 plagues that Jehovah laid upon Egypt. After the first 2 hit everybody, then from 3 on, Israel wasn't touched. Israel watched as all the people around them, all of Egypt, were plagued with the locusts, the frogs, everything, and even the death of the firstborn, and yet it did not come nigh them. I mean, to literally see the fulfillment of Psalm 91, verses 7 and 8, 1,000 shall fall at your side and 10,000 at your right hand, but it will not come nigh you, for you will observe and see the punishment of the wicked. That's exactly what happened. They watched as they sat in Goshen in the middle of it all. I mean, it's to be the literal sense of being in the eye of the storm. Because if anybody understands how a hurricane works, in the eye is absolute calm. There is nothing. There's no wind, no nothing. It is just calm like a summer day, while the outside is just a raging storm. That's what it was for them. Goshen was that eye of the storm, as Yah's wrath and plague was poured out on everything around them. They watched and they witnessed all of this. They watched and they witnessed as they left Egypt, and they moved and they went out and they kept Pesach and they did all this stuff to Succoth, and they went out into the land, and they went to the Red Sea, and they're led by a pillar of cloud by day and a pillar of fire by night. I mean, come on. Seriously. You think about this pillar of fire, and I'm sure it wasn't some little dust thing like you see, in a dirt field. This was probably a big, massive pillar of fire all the way to the sky. I don't know. And it led them at night. It lit the way, You see, as they were, as they came up to the Red Sea, and they see all of Egypt and their chariots and everything coming from behind, and they see God blocking them off while they watch this man who is being led by Yah lift up his hands with the staff and everything and part the Red Sea, and watch this ocean as the wind comes from the east and divides the waters, and they watch as it opens up and dry land, and they walk across this thing. I mean, the miracles that they witnessed, going to Mount Sinai, manna from heaven every day, food being right outside their front door, the quail that was dropped upon them up to their eyeballs in meat, the water that was brought out of a rock spring, and it said it gushed forth. It wasn't no little drinking fountain. It says it gushed forth out of the rock. All of these things that they witnessed, and yet they complained. Every chance they got, they whined and they complained. We could have had good meat and bread back in Egypt and blah, 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 and all this stuff. It was lies. They didn't have meat. They didn't have all of that. They were being barely fed and being tortured and beaten and everything else. And they complained and complained and complained. And Mishpachah, the thing that we have to realize is, if we spend our life whining and moaning and groaning, then we make grievous the Holy Spirit. We grieve the Holy Spirit. And he'll be like, fine, here, you could just live in your misery. I'm not doing nothing for you. If this is how you want to live, this is how you choose to serve me, is to complain to me and whine to me and everything else, then you can live in your misery. And that's exactly what he gave them. And for 40 years, they wandered the desert. and they never got to see the promised land. All those people could have had a beeline shot right into Canaan, which became Israel, if they would have praised Yah, blessed Yah, worshipped his name right out the gate, right across the field, so to speak. If they hadn't have just done everything possible to dishonor Yah. Korah and his sons and everybody, couple hundred people that rose up against Moses saying, oh, well, we can do this too and all this stuff. We can lead them. And Yah wipes them out. And then the next day, 14,000 more stupidly decide to stand up and do the same thing Korah did and rise up. And Yah killed them too. We have to be careful, Mishpachah. We serve such a merciful, loving, compassionate, long-suffering Elohim. But do not, as the saying goes, do not take his kindness for weakness. Because sooner or later, and the thing in our own personal life, we never know when we will have that. We just push that button for the last time. We never know. We need to be humble and submissive. We need to be surrendered. We need to be like Caleb and Joshua. We need to be like that. We need to be like King David continually. All these things every day. We need to be reminded every day. We need to think upon it every day. We need to think upon what this talks about and what this chapter is saying. To let us shout joyfully to the rock of our salvation. Think about Caleb and Joshua and the 12 that went into. So after all of this nightmare and everything that happened, 12 went into the land to spy the land. Out of 12 people, only 2. And I think it's prophetic. Somebody even said something a while back. I can't remember who it was, and I have to agree with it. It was almost prophetic of showing the divorce of Israel, because 12 went into the land to spy the land. 12 came back. 10 complained and were afraid, saying, we are like grasshoppers and we will be killed and blah, 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 all scared and everything. And what happened? 10 northern tribes were scattered throughout the earth. Yah divorced Israel and scattered the 10 northern, and Judah and Benjamin remained behind. 2, Joshua and Caleb spoke and said, yes, they are giants, but we are ready to go in and take them out. Let's do it. Let's wipe them out. Let's take the land that Yehovah has promised us. They were not afraid of these giants. They were not afraid of what they saw. Just like King David, when he stood before Goliath, he said, why is anybody afraid of this man who blasphemes our God? Let us go and destroy him. And David said, I will fight him. This little man goes out against a 10-foot tall man who has a spear that the shaft of it is made of a weaver's beam. And he goes out and he tells him, I'm going to kill you. He says, God is going to hand you into my hand, put you into my hands. I'm going to kill you. And with one rock. I mean, come on, Mishpachah. This is the kind of focus that we should be on every day. This is the kind of heart that we should have in everything of our life, whatever you're going through in your life. And not to sound funny, but whatever your Goliath is in your life, whatever your giants are in your life, don't be the 10 who come back and give a report of fear, but be the 2 who came back and said, yes, we will conquer. Yah will give us this. Be that and do what this chapter says. Praise his name. Let us come before his presence with thanksgiving. Let us shout joyfully to him with psalms. Yehovah is the great Elohim, the great king above all gods. In his hand are the deep places of the earth. The heights of the hills are his also. The sea is his, for he made it. His hands formed the dry land. Let us worship and bow down. Let us kneel before Yehovah, our maker, for he is our Elohim, and we are the people of his pasture. Be that. Praise that. Shout that. Glorify him. Today, if you will hear his voice, do not harden your hearts as in the rebellion, as in the day of trial in the wilderness, when your fathers tested me. He's telling you, folks, don't do this. Don't be what they were, because the result of what they were was destruction. They were cast out. They were removed from their people, and he cast them away. Let Yah not swear in his wrath against you, Mishpachah. We never want Yehovah to say, you shall not enter my rest. What horrible words that we could ever hear is for Yehovah to look at us and say, you will not enter my rest. Man, I don't ever want my king to say that to me. I want to be able to be the one of those that my king looks at and says, welcome in, my good and faithful servant. Come and be in the place that I have prepared for you. And I know you want the same thing, Mishpachah. So walk in that obedience. Give him praise. Choose this day to walk in joy. No matter what your life is, there is nothing in your life that you have ever gone through or are going through that will ever be so bad that you cannot choose to praise Yehovah and find joy that the fact that he gives you breath to breathe. Job is that prime example. And none of us have been through what Job went through. Nobody has ever gone through what that man went through. And if anybody ever has and has overcome it, then none of us have any place to complain, because Job never cursed Yah through all of it. He never turned his back on Yah. And that is how we need to be. That's how we need to stand. That's how we need to walk in him. Amen. So Mishpachah, have an awesome and blessed day. May your walk be a walk of strength in Yah today. May you look upon the world outside in the beautiful sky. I don't care if it's snowing. I don't care if it's a clear blue sky. Go and find joy in the beauty of his creation and the beauty that is around you and the air that you breathe. And praise Yehovah for giving you life and the hope that one day you will be with him for all eternity. Amen. I love you, Mishpachah, but most importantly, Yah loves you. Shalom, shalom.